Hi everyone, it's Lindenherz. Yeah, I wanted to make an update video on my year ahead spread, and I recently got I guess it was in my last video. I got some questions from I hope I pronounce it correctly, France Claire, and she asked me how I'm going on, how I was incorporating my year ahead spread in the last 2 months, how I worked with the influences of the cards, the energies of the cards, if I incorporate crystals or meditation and so on. And I thought, okay, I just wanted to make a video about that. That was my intention, that I will do these kind of videos monthly, and I also wanted to incorporate the this kind of 3-card spread that Ethony gave us for the 31 days of tarot last month. I want to incorporate those spreads every month, hopefully. And so far, what can I say about this? It was a challenging month, and it was it was hard to focus on the energies of the cards. So this kind of overarching energy with the Sun card, which I drew in the end of January, was hard to hard to access, I have to confess. This was not at all this kind of happy, sunny month that maybe such a card can that you can assume from such a card. This is only learned a new word by Kelly Bear, my noob's perspective. Love that word. Interesting how much you can learn here as a foreign language speaker. This month was, like I said, challenging. I see the card more as kind of kind of a spotlight source, something like that. It really put the light on those topics I really didn't want it to see, but which are normally showing up when you're doing shadow work. So there was an intense moment in the month where I realized that was only a few sessions into I guess what was the second session into the 29 days of shadows, or the 29 shadows by Kelly and Maddox, when I had some kind of a big realization. It was not so much some kind of an epiphany. I knew that before, but always tried to suppress it in some kind of way. And that was my kind of, it was not nice to discover this kind of, it was fear of getting left behind, fear of not, it's sometimes, like I said, sometimes difficult to express that in English and not in my mother language. It's basically, it was kind of, this kind of question always circles within Kelly Ann Maddox's blogs and also videos. This kind of what you're thinking when you think about your being, that you're being not immortal, but very mortal, and that will soon die, and so on and so forth. And it was quite okay, this was something I was able to look at, but there's also the fear of getting left behind, of after, I guess it's some major thing that started to appear after my mother died. I guess that's one of the main reasons why this kind of topic is always reoccurring through dreams sometimes, or sometimes basically in fears, and everyday fears or something like that. And of course also the concern of the own mortality also plays in that. But it was not nice. It was quite. It was quite scary when this kind of realization hit me, and with it came all the emotions of fear with it, and this was quite it was exhausting, and it was kind of overwhelming, and sometimes the everyday lives comes and adds to that, and there was something in my private life with some people that are close to me, which also triggered this kind of fear, and also some kind of anger, and really anger that I felt also in this kind of process, and it was a challenge. So strength was definitely a challenge. I also saw the energy of the sun as a challenge, and the kind of the card, the overarching card for the quarter of the of this first quarter of the year is quite fitting, because it was all about the sodalite card is all about beginning of self-awareness, of kind of transformation, and you can get this kind of feeling that you have to go through that, and you have to come to the other side of the card, so to speak. And there's a lot of turmoil in the card, you can see here, so you have to go through that. So this is quite fitting, and because of that, I purchased. Last month, I purchased a sodalite pendant here, and wear it quite often. I also worked still working during the shadow working with this gorgeous Morian, this dark smoky quartz I got from Emily, from my friend Emily Baudet, and she passed it on to me after it served her well, and now she told me that this one wanted to travel to me and want to visit me and want to stay with me as long as I feel the need to work with it. And I also worked with this one, and I still mix that up, those two stones with O. So onyx and obsidian, but I guess it's an obsidian or an onyx. So maybe you can tell me. I always confuse, but nonetheless, this stone is quite. This stone was quite powerful. Also, my tourmaline, which I have now on my kind of shadow work, or this kind of altar I set up with the things that Emily sent me. This kind of entering the cave of the bear altar. That rough piece of tourmaline is now within this kind of altar. But this one is also sitting on my within my elemental wreath, and it's quite helpful and powerful too. So this is kind of the way I incorporate those energies. I don't particularly meditate, still working on that practice. And I really liked the video that Molly Roberts of Her Speak did in terms of getting a meditation practice. That was quite helpful and funny to watch, as all of her videos. They are quite enlightening. And but I worked with some kind of visualizations. Hard word. I worked with that. So because of this when this kind of basic fear hit me, I searched for some kind of guidance, some helping books or so. And I also have another book by this author, but no, I don't find it at the moment. I don't know where I did put this. But I went to our local library and got this one, which is by Thich Nhat Hanh, The Fearless Buddha. What is carrying us through fear. And the original title, I will tell you, so you can look that up if you're interested in this book, is called Fear, Essential Wisdom for Getting Through the Storm by Thich Nhat Hanh. I will put it in the description box if I find it, and of course, I will find it on Amazon.com, so you can get it there. It's quite helpful. I'm only the halfway through. There are a lot of whoops, my stuff fell down. You can see I often write down some kind of quotes I love and so on, things I really like. And there are some kind of exercises within when you hear this kind of strange sounds in the background. That's my dog, who's totally happy that her master came back from work. So but this kind of exercises are quite interesting. Here's some kind of exercise where you talk with your inner child, which is basically a bit like the Gestalt therapy or therapy. And this is something I didn't try, but I tried something else. I tried to find it, which I transformed. This was kind of, getting on or trying to get around with your past. Accepting your ancestors is that basically. And something which I knew was that I also have to, which is a topic I also wanted to address during the the shadow work, is the relationship with my father, the problematic relationship I had with my father. And I wanted, you can hear, my dog is crazy and she's always sounding like a little brown bear with some kind of sore throat or something. I wanted to delve into this problematic relationship, and because of this kind of exercise, I started to develop my own kind of visualization, where I met with my father in my kind of internal landscape, where we're encouraged to develop through our season of the Seeker studies. And it was really, really helpful and powerful. And it was also interesting because maybe you saw this in one of my, I guess it was the So-Win or Samhain videos, where told about one of the pictures I had from my father as a child. And this is, since I found this picture last year, this is something where I work on with, or which I discover, or this kind of image I discover always in my internal landscape. I discover him as a child, my father as a child. And there was an interesting conversation that started to unfold while we were sitting, and facing each other. And the interesting thing was that I was also a child, and we started to talking about our fathers, as if, we just met each other. And he was also telling about his father and that he is missing his father. His father, didn't make it back after World War II. And so he was raised by his mother alone. And this is something which, it was really intense and it was interesting. It was interesting to approach him like that we have something in common. And it was certainly something which was easier for me to approach him like a child than as an adult, because I only knew him as an adult. And this is something where I also have to step forward and progress towards facing him as an adult in my kind of visualization. So this will be interesting to delve into this further. And sometimes it's hard, because sometimes Thich Nhat Hanh is a Buddhist monk, a Zen Buddhist monk. So of course he has a lot of knowledge and a lot of background in this kind of stuff. He is a master of this. He studied it. He like from the beginning of childhood, you learn these kind of thought forms, and sometimes these thought forms are quite difficult to approach for a Western mind, and you start to it's sometimes hard. So I think I have to read a lot more of these books to get wrap my head or my mind around that idea. And but nonetheless, very, very good and something you should read. So yeah, but back to my cards now. Back to the opportunity card, which was also quite interesting because in January I was quite obsessed with tarot and but I already felt by the end of January that this kind of energy that I was thriving from within December and in January was going to fade away. I felt that now the circle is coming that I'm normally experiencing within December, so this kind of down phase. But still, it was in terms of so I retreated a bit from tarot, or participating in any challenges because of course because of the shadow work process. But I also got interested in the Lenormand, and I was quite close to taking part in a Lenormand class, which is set up by I don't know if she has a YouTube channel, but I found her through someone on Instagram, and this Instagram account is called The Card Geek, and she has also a blog or a website, and she's offering this, and she's part of the Lenormand World Association or something like that. And you can take part in these kind of classes. You can learn by your own also, but then it's quite pricey. But you can also take part in a Facebook class. I'm still not on Facebook, and I'm still hesitating. I don't want to rush it. That was the reason that I didn't participate in the Lenormand class in February. So I thought, okay, maybe one day, or maybe I will wait until Kelly is ready for her Lenormand class so I can participate in that. But the interesting thing about this Lenormand, and also they are also teaching tarot, is that you can access then later to kind of a forum or closed group or something like that. Not necessarily on Facebook, I guess. And then you can give those members of this kind of association free readings, and those you have to do a certain number of readings to get some kind of certification, something like that, or approvement or something like that, which you can put then on your website or so. So this was quite interesting, and I still have this in my some kind of my mind in the background. So this was interesting, but I also found that I should focus on one thing, and it was to some degree also Lenormand, but I wanted to take it more playfully. So I got some of the decks. I got this gorgeous book that I will be doing a video series in March, and I delved into that one. So it was a bit not only focusing on one thing, but also a bit focusing on several things, but leaving aside those things that are at the moment maybe a bit too overwhelming or a bit too much to do everything at once. So it was quite interesting for that. So back again, I had to give some food to my dog, and also found out while I was transferring the first part of this video to the computer and watched it on the screen, saw this bad spot here that is still a bit dirty, but those spots in your flat or house or something which are always overlooked, and then you suddenly make a video and think, oh my gosh, that's gross. I have to clean it. Oh my gosh, what do people think? Yeah, okay, this is the normal life. I don't know who was it. I guess it was, I don't know her real name. The creator of the Time and Tarot. I guess it was, the deck was called like that. Time Witch, how she's calling her website. She posted she posted a picture on Instagram a couple of weeks ago where she delivered the real picture of things beside or beyond Instagram picture taking. So not always fancy super decorated stuff that you see on the pictures where you think, oh, what a lifestyle. No, she pictured herself how she looked, a bit messed up, and also with a bit of a messy messy room she pictured. And I really like that. This is how life really goes. Sometimes we do something which is quite fancy and quite nice to look at, but that's not the real thing. Mostly so I'm at the moment quite happy that you can look in that direction, because my sofa looks quite messy at the moment with all of kinds of books and some kind of notes, and so to remember myself what I want to tell you. So back to my year head spread. So you saw this. These are the cards for February, and I already drew this morning my cards for March, and this card still stays the same. And this card was the card I drew in my year ahead spread, the Mother of Cups. And then here was the challenge, which is this one, not so good. And as opportunity, I drew this one here, which is quite funny because this is my year card. Not from this deck, of course, but from the Chrysalis Tarot. So basically means basically quite the same thing in both decks. So this was quite interesting. This was not so good to see, this kind of picture, how it is portrayed in Smith-Waite decks or Smith-Waite clones. This one here, those people really look, to be frankly honest and to use some honest words here, some adult speech, they look fucked up. Really, look, those people here. So this is basically the same, but still I found it still interesting. Also interesting that, for instance, the Raven's Prophecy Tarot also uses roses here in this in the Pentacle suit. And also has rose, or should I say, rose leaves that were shattered from the rose itself. So here you can at least see some bit of life remaining in the rose. So I saw it, yeah. Of course, you can relate it to financial worries and something like that. But I also see it as kind of insecurities. And this is a card that, or the topic, or the feeling for this is something which started to came up within February, I guess, and also was some kind of, subconsciously making its appearance within January, but because I was so busy, I wasn't able to, I just suppressed it. So these kind of fears are at the moment really, making an appearance at the moment. So it is quite interesting. This comes up as a challenge. So this is a challenge to not give over to these kind of things, and maybe also be aware of not taking too much, risks in the in the mundane life. So I am, like I told in other videos before, I love to search up the meanings of different decks for a card. So sometimes it adds layer, like I said, sometimes not, but sometimes it's quite interesting. And I also came off something like some kind of negative thoughts or negative mind loops. So this is definitely what I feel about this topic. And what is interesting is the interaction I see here within this one. This one here certainly looks like this has a lot of lack of water. And there you have the Mother of Cups. So, and with her cup of water. And I see also the Mother of Cups as the kind of the queen of the water of life. So a little bit of influence of my never-ending story addiction I have, which I adore and which I recommend highly everyone to read. Especially even if you read it as a child, but this is the interesting thing with books, with some books that you read in childhood, that they have sometimes more layers when you read them in adulthood. So I really highly recommend reading that. So if you're interested in kind of shadow work and self-love and self-development and something like that, this is a really nice, it has really nice metaphors for these kind of topics, and I like that a lot. So so I see this kind of positive outcome. So when you bring this kind of water of life to this rose, maybe you can save it. And even if there are more leaves shattered or something, the rose itself will remain intact and can bloom again or blossom again one day. So this was something I really liked, and which I also found interesting was I also searched in the guidebook of the Wildwood Tarot. I know the Wildwood differs to some degrees of the regular Smith-Waite system. Not always, sometimes quite a lot, and sometimes it's quite the same. But I found it interesting. Where the card, the same card, were about emotional resilience and endurance, and this is something which is also quite interesting because it plays into that, at least at my noob's perspective. And what also came up, which I also find out, the cycles of life. So this is something which I'm experiencing at the moment. The highs are followed by the lows, and at the moment I'm feeling the lows quite often, although I'm now sounding quite happy or cheerful or so. That's the reason also which makes these processes quite exhausting. You're not always down all the time. Not all the time. Sometimes, especially at this moment with shadow working, you go through all kinds of different kinds of emotions. I compare it a bit to the grieving process, because when I was in my grieving process, there were a lot of emotions that were really sometimes quite the opposite, from deep despair into some kind of furious laughter because of funny things you remember from your childhood suddenly, or sometimes anger and regret or shame or something like that. And these kind of reoccurring and sometimes really fast changing emotions makes the process of grieving also so exhausting, and also to some degree the process of shadow working so exhausting, because you go through all those emotions that you suppress, even the good ones. So I found that this process, this shadow work process, will take me a lot of time. And I think you, Larissa, I guess, I don't know if it was on your chats or where did you put it? I don't know, in one of the comments where you said take your time because it's an exhausting process. So thank you for that. I knew it already, but it's nice when you hear it, these kind of compassionate words from others. So this is quite the good and supportive experience you get in this community, I guess. So so the Mother of Cups is my overarching energy, and I hope this won't be such a challenging one like the Sun. But of course, we come to the opportunity, the Three of Wands, which is my like I said, which is also my card of the year, the theme of the year I drew within the year ahead spread by Patrick from in the 78 cards. And this kind of thing is always it's interesting how some tarot decks are differing differ from the I don't know, from the meaning. Sometimes you find things like that this indicates teamwork, focusing on a vision in a team. But sometimes it also says sometimes you have to go or leave behind people's opinions and come to your own conclusion. This is part of most every decision making when it's yeah, when it's okay to make decision making. No, I don't know how to explain that at the moment. Sometimes you need a team to come to some conclusion, but in the end, you're the one alone who is taking responsibility or is responsible for his own decision. Okay, you can get influenced, but I see it, and sometimes you are also influenced in in real life. So some things that you might regret, and you're thinking that you were influenced by certain people, or that you were weak, that you give in to certain opinions of people, and so on. So quite rambly here. So I see this a bit of focusing on your own vision, but also going outside and ask for help if you don't come any further, or you don't progress in a certain problem, or you have to search for guidance and so on. This is quite interesting, especially for March, where I also will be taking part in some challenges. So especially the Without Advice challenge by Kelly and Patrick, and this is also plays into that. This is kind of, you have to find your own idea of this kind in this challenge of the cards or so. But if you don't come further, if you're stuck, then you ask for help and guidance. And this is quite a thing which I'm also loving in this kind of way, when you're putting it into this kind of creative endeavor that we are all participating in March. But I see it also as kind of, we have often the kind of explorer type or archetype in the cards. So I try to find it in the Hanson Roberts deck. This one here, kind of explorer, the one that either waits for the ship to come into the harbor, or the ships are already or are leaving at the moment. So this is quite interesting. This is quite in the way that you can, when the ships come into the harbor, you can think about trading and something like that, some kind of teamwork. But when you're sending them off, in case this kind of guy is a trading man or something, that he has a vision. He has a vision for his future things. But I also love that the Chrysalis Tarot had a monk in this picture. I try in this card, which I also relate to a kind of spiritual development, exploring your spiritual richness. And I try to find it because I really like that. It's quite basically also the same meaning. Although this tarot deck, the Chrysalis Tarot, is also quite different in its system, and I'm really looking forward to the guidebook. I try to find it. Of course, you don't find it. Yeah, there he is. Look at that. What? Look at him. So he's all about contemplation, and maybe he needs some help because he's stuck, as you can see here, within the tree. But first of all, he has to focus on his own vision, and then ask for help, and then you can also realize your own vision with the help of others. Still stay true to your vision. So as kind of my here card. But here, this is also quite interesting to incorporate all of that, this kind of moving away from this, utilizing the good gifts of the Mother of Cups, and focusing on your own vision or your own impressions of something, of yourself, of moving further, expand your horizon, and delve into the richness of your spiritual landscape. So this is also so different kinds of layers for these cards. At least I see here. Of course, there are maybe tons of more interpretations and so on that I'm missing here as a noob. But I'm still learning, and I'm loving the learning process at the moment. So this is quite a fun way to explore everything. And it's also interesting because this kind also works quite well with the Sodalite card from the Camini Vuja. So also interesting, challenging, of course, but at the moment I'm feeling like some kind of curiosity how I will utilize the things that these kind of reminders, this kind of thought points, or I don't know how to call it. This kind, you can say it as kind of a reminder. Do you hear that? My dangerous dog is challenging my boyfriend to play, and when she's playing or when both are playing, then you have to be cautious and not getting in their way, because it could get some kind of dangerous. Not me. Yeah. He's totally innocent. And the dog is the bad guy or the bad girl. Sorry. So, I guess that was everything here. I'm quite interesting to work here with this further and delve into it. Maybe also start a bit like path working. I never did that before. And I will be quite interested to work in March with the Mary L, which is on the way to me, but not before the 8th or 9th of March. So this will be also quite interesting, especially while I'm still in the shadow work process. Although I have to admit that the Mary L is kind of intimidating. I can't say it's. I have a lot of respect. Let's put it like this, because this is something which I wouldn't normally have bought as a noob. So, but because it was on sale and who knows when to get another chance like this, I said, okay, let's try it, and I will see how far I will go. I guess I will for the challenge, for the first day of the challenge, I will see which deck I will with which deck I will go. Maybe the Wild Unknown, maybe the Raven's Prophecy. I don't know. Maybe I should take this one, but this is really a challenging deck at least. But I also want it to be fun and not too much of a... Although there were a lot of insights to this deck when I also used it for the Tarot Mama Challenge on Instagram in January. I came to a lot of conclusions about some of the cards, but still it's a challenge. This deck. So I know I will have to work with this one day or move it on. But at the moment, I still want to give it another try. So, yeah. And also, before I will close off, I also love to delve into these kind of the books that I bought recently, secondhand. This one you knew, this kind of this Tarot as a Companion by Hazel Bensaf and Elisa Hammerline, which is quite fascinating, interesting, a good beginner's book. Then I also recently got this one, the 78s of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack, also used. I thought, okay, for €3 you can't do anything wrong, and this was okay. And before we'll close off, remember that I told you that the Sun card in the Vision Quest Tarot was quite different, or I started or tried to explain it to you while I was making fun of the Hanson Roberts Sun card. And I have a book where this card is depicted and where I was started to get interested in the cards themselves. So this is the Sun card and is really colorful and rich, and I like that quite a lot. And it's by Sylvie Winter, Tarot for Strong Women, it is called. It's also quite interesting. It's short, and you always have depictions of both major tarot decks of the Smith-Waite and the Thoth system. So my camera threw me off. I accidentally forgot to delete the other big video file, so no much space left. So yeah, where was I here with this book, Tarot for Strong Women by Sylvie Winter? I don't know if this book is available in English, to be honest. Is there something? No, I guess there is, although she is okay. She's living in Santa Fe. I don't know, maybe this one is available on or in English, I don't know. So the only picture of the Vision Quest tarot is on the cover, and this was the reason I started to research that deck when I got this. So as I told you, Thoth and Smith-Waite depictions here in black and white, and you got some things about it, some light and shadow aspects here, and so on and so forth. Quite an interesting book for a beginner. And before I will close, I want to share again this with you, and one of the pictures I will insert if I find that picture. Where did I put that? Is it out? There it is. This one will go in there. She's really my shadow work queen, I have to say, after watching that movie a couple of months ago, actually. And she's really gorgeous. And if you didn't manage to see this movie, Maleficent from Disney, then I really encourage you. I also put this in my Elemental Advent Wreath, still mispronounce it. The Advent Wreath series I did in December, and this was for the realm of the water, the realm of shadow work, and so on. And this is a really great movie for that, and she will really go in this one. And before I will finish, I will also, of course, will soon bind the other journals, and I will share with you how to do it. Although I don't know how, to some degree, I don't know how you will be able to repeat this process, because some of the things are quite easy to do. Also, especially also when you don't have the tools for it. Some tools you can easily get, and you can try to make your own with some adjustment to it, but I have some certain tools that that makes it more easier to bind such a booklet or such a journal. And I have a cutting machine, a bigger cutting machine, although I have to confess, this cutting machine is not, I can't focus here on that, so I try to show it to you. You see, this is not a really fine cutting here. So this booklet, especially with the cover, is still too thick to cut, actually, for this machine I have. And these kind of other machines where you do this sideways, I don't know how you will be able to do this multiple times, so you have to see how to measure it. Otherwise, you will have some, the paper will stick out a bit like that. So you will have to see how this goes, because this is happening because you're stacking the paper into each other. So, but nonetheless, I will share with you the process. I will link to you, or will give you a link, or share with you a link by a gorgeous YouTuber who is also quite creative and does certain things with with the tools she has. And certainly a lot of her stuff is approachable for people who don't necessarily have big bookbinding tools or something like that. So you can check her out before. Her channel is called Sea Lemon, and she has all sorts of creative projects going on, and I really learned a lot from regarding her bookbinding techniques, this kind of saddle stitch technique I learned there, and also Coptic stitch binding, which is quite, it's fascinating, but it's you have to be very, very patient. It's a lesson in patience, definitely. So enough ramble. This is already quite long, this video. So I hope this was kind of helpful, this kind of rambly, shadow worky, year ahead spready stuff here. And we will see us soon. Either in a how to do your own booklet, or how to do your own ink, or I guess a video which will be going on earlier. I don't know if I will be able to do it within the next days. Depends on when the deck will come. I will make a walkthrough of this one here and of the Mary Hansen Roberts deck, the big and the small edition, with and without borders. So this will be will also is on my agenda, as well as the series that will begin on the 1st of March on Lenormand, or the Fabulous World of Lenormand, the book that I have, and there's a lot to draw from it. Even for those who are not necessarily into Lenormand, still there is a lot of things that you can take from, especially because there are some links to the tarot also in this booklet, which are quite interesting. And yeah, so look out for that. A lot of things to do, so I will see how and when I will do certain videos, but you will see when they are uploaded. So I wish you a fine day or a fine night, and a wonderful weekend. I guess I will see some of you tonight, at least it's tonight here in Germany, when we will have another chit-chat with Kelly, I guess. But I don't know when this will be uploaded, so we will see when you will listen to this one. So, wish you a good weekend. Bye!